In this video, we are going to have a discussion on the 5-minute rule, 10 years later, and other computer storage rules of the thumb. Before we move on to the next slide, we have to first understand the meaning of the title and what it's going to say us. And the title suggests us a discussion on the 5-minute rule in computer science after a decade, along with the exploration of the other general principles that are related to computer science, computer storage. As we can see that the title gives us a hint at a focus on the advancements and guidelines in the field of the computer storage technology. Now, move on to the next slide. These are all the concepts that we are going to learn in this video, in this session. That means first one is basic concepts. Second one, we are going to look on the problem definition and we are going to have the clarity on that. And is it significant or not? And what are the challenges that we are facing that that they are facing, and assumptions, limitations, contributions, and proposed approach, methodology, and at last we are going to conclude and what might be the future work, that means an extinction. Now first we are going to look at the basic concepts in the sense some like we have to have an we have to have an idea on what are the concepts that we are learning. Like basically we have to have some concepts in our mind. These are all the concepts, like the 5 minutes rule. The 5 minutes rule, it gives us a main idea of the paper. The main idea of the paper is a 5 minute rule. The rule suggests that if it takes less than 5 minutes to read or write some data from the storage, then it's better for us to keep the data in the main memory instead of storing it on a disk. The reason why we are doing this is it takes a longer time to access the data from the disk than it takes to compute it. Then it's more efficient to just keep the data in the memory rather than storing into the disk. The next concept is hierarchy of the storage. Here the data is stored in different levels with various access speeds and cost, which includes registers, cache, main memory, which is nothing but the RAM, disk storage, and tertiary storage. And access time versus the capacity. The exchange between the access time and the storage capacity is a repeating process. If the faster the storage is more costly, but it provides a quick access. And if the storage is lower, which is less costly, but provides but and it also provides the but accessing is also somewhat late. Next, we are going to have a look at the disk input output and DBMS, which is data management systems. It discusses how the 5 minute rule has impacted the design and performance of the DBMS. It will decide, like this will decide which data should be kept in the memory and which data should be stored in the disk, which is nothing but a 5 minute rule. It will decide data organization and layout. It is a way to optimize the access patterns. For example, we keep the related data together on the disk to minimize the search times, like in order to minimize the access times, which means that if you are going to take it several times, then the data should be stored in the disk rather than storing in the memory. The rules of the thumb for the data indexing. The rule of the thumb is nothing but which is related to the indexing in the database, which states that the tree index should fit in the memory for efficient access. These are all the basic concepts that we have to keep in our mind. And next, we are going to have a discussion on the problem definition and clarity, which is highlighted in the red mark. And in this slide, we are going to discuss mainly on the three questions like what is the problem, actual problem that is addressed in the paper, whether paper in the sense that research paper is it clearly stated in the paper. The reason I'm giving this presentation is like it's a review that what I have understand from the paper, and does the author make the important issue like the problem clear or it's unclear. Yeah, the issue of the computer storage computer system data storage optimization is very well discussed in this paper. Especially, the author is mainly concentrated on determining how long the data should be kept in the memory before being written to the task, where they were calculating the time or like that. It's important to balance between the writing seldom access data to a disk and retaining often accessible data in the memory for quick access. Yeah, this is a quite serious problem because RAM is like the memory is much faster than the disk, and but the cost is high also. Next, we are going to have a look on, is the problem clearly stated? Yeah, there is no doubt in that the problem is clearly stated in the paper. As I discussed in the above statement, the problem, it's very well clearly stated in the paper that the writers they convey the difficulties included in the storage management within the framework of developing the technologies, emphasizing the trade-off between the RAM and the disk access cost. In my opinion, the writers clearly state the key points. Their explanation of the reasoning behind the 1 minute rule and the 5 minute standards is very well straightforward, and they offer a thorough analysis of trade-offs associated with the data caching. They also talk about how the technologies or advanced these guidelines are evolved. The 5 minute rule is very well explained in this detail, which lays the groundwork for the tasks that follows on the pages, sizes, technologies, ratios, and new storage measurements. And I think you are clear about the what's the problem definition, or is it clearly stated by the author, or like that. Next, we are going to discuss the significance and relevance. Like, is the problem significant and relevant? And is there any reason to care about the problem and the paper results? And is it the problem new or something which is already existing? These might be the questions we have to do on the next slide. And coming to the problem, is a problem relevant for the paper? Yeah, when I thoroughly studied the paper, the problem identified in the paper is significant and it is very relevant. In the view of changing technologies and economic factors, the author mainly concentrated on the optimizing storage management role. As the storage capacity increases, the cost will be decreasing. Providing the guidelines for the efficient storage becomes crucial for designing and also maintaining the effective computer storage systems. And whether the problem, are there any reasons for the identification of this problem? Of course, there are many reasons for the problems of the data storage management, data storage optimizations. Here are the few examples of practical applications: web servers, database, and data warehouses. Web servers, they quickly have to store and retrieve the large amounts of data. Yeah, so that by optimizing the data storage, when we optimize the data storage thing, the web servers can improve their performance and handle more traffic. And coming to the database administrators may lower the storage cost and enhance the query performance by optimizing the data storage. They are very well used in the wide variety of applications like financial systems, customer relation management systems, and e-commerce websites also. And another practical application is the data warehouses. By optimizing the data storage, data analytics can improve the performance of the queries and extract more value from the data. Especially these warehouses are used to store and analyze the large amounts of data which are already existing in the past. The issue of the optimizing the data. Before moving to the next question, like, is it a new problem or like that? There are, especially the very wide variety of the applications to improve the data storage efficiency. We are all moving on working on something because to work the system efficiently, and we have to get it in the right manner and very fastly also. And yeah, this problem, the issue of optimization is data storage is already present, but the new, because of the technology has been changing, and there are many reasons. There is an exponential growth in the data generation, so it remains a major difficulty. The fundamental challenges of the storage management have been already present, but now it introduces the updated guidelines and metrics such as the CAP, MAP, scans. These measurements provide a fresh way to address the changing computer storage landscape, together with the modification of the established guidelines such as the 5-minute rule to account for shifting the technology ratios. While adhering to the current technology trends, the article offers fresh perspectives and suggestions while expanding upon the well established ideas. I hope you understand what are the practical applications. There's a problem is already existing, but we are going to talk about this, and is it relevant or not? Yeah. Next, coming to the next slide, we are going to discuss on the challenges, which mainly include the is it computationally complex? Does it require the largest search space? Is it hard to solve or easy? Yeah, of course, we do face many challenges. And is it computationally complex, like MB completeness? The problem complex or not stated clearly in the study, like whether it is computationally complex or not, it's not stated in the paper clearly. However, it mainly had to focus on giving the guidelines, rules, and metric for the storage optimization rather than solving difficult computational issues. Rather than being primarily due to the inherent computational complexity, the challenge can more from the practical concerns and choices involved in the storage management. Does it require the largest search space? The, the data storage optimization does not have a large search space. That means that there are many number of possible answers for a problem. Yeah, of course, for a problem, there are many number of solutions. But the thing is, we have to choose the best, and we have to use like we have to choose the efficient one, and which is good for us, and which has provided efficient answer, quick answer. Like that, we have to choose one. Yeah, and by using the efficient algorithms, we can find the good solutions to the problems too. Those problems may involve a large search space, especially when considering the optimization of the storage configuration, caching strategies, and trade offs between RAM and disk access. Exploring the entire solution space with optimal storage management in various scenarios should be computationally intensive. Is it hard to solve? Nothing in this world is hard to solve. No, yeah, it's not hard to solve. But understanding is more important, right? If you understand it clearly, it's not a big deal for us to solve the problems. Either in any cases, the same happens here. It's not that much hard to solve of the data storage optimization. As I told that there are many solutions for the problem, right? There are many algorithms that can like different procedures that we follow to solve a practical problem or a problem. In certain cases, it's hard to solve the problem. For example, when in this data storage optimization, when there is a huge data or when the data access patterns are very hard, then it's quite hard. However, However, in general, the problem of the data storage optimization is well-studied problem with a number of non-efficient algorithms. The problem can still be challenging to solve in certain cases. The challenges is likely more related to the finding effective real-world solutions in the storage system designs, right? Yeah. And these are the challenges that we are faced and that I have observed. And coming to the limitations and assumptions, um, yeah, certainly there will be some limitations and assumptions also in these cases. And in this case, had a doubt that is it solved before? Yeah, for many years, the researchers has been examining the issue of the optimizing the data storage. The main idea is to we have to optimize the data storage. The problem can be solved using several established algorithms and problems. Moreover, the problem is still an active area of research because the amount of data being generated is growing exponentially. As we can say that the data is moving fast, like huge amount of data is coming, and new technology trends are coming, and applications are also constantly varying. Yeah, it is. Is it a trivial variation or the extension of the previous result? The 5-minute rule was first suggested in the year of 1987 style and expanded upon and reviewed on this work. It is an extension of, we are already having some idea. It's just an extension of the original idea rather than a pointless variant, because it offers an update, and as I told, the technologies have been changing and new considerations are also been having. Yeah, the writers are, as I told, that is just an extension. Just the writers know about that. Of course, they are very aware of the earlier research. In their work, they analyze both the merits and demerits of the earlier methods and what they are going to extend it, and the size of number of present Persian papers. Yeah, as I discussed, everything will have some assumptions and limitations. The limitation of the original 5-minute rule includes the assumptions about the technology ratios, risk prices, and RAM prices. These assumptions changed as time passed and introduces the new metrics and rules. One common limitation that I had observed in the previous work, and now it doesn't have it, is that in according to the latest technology advances in the RAM and disk storage, both the 5-minute and 1-minute rules of the thumb are based on the latest data and therefore provide a more accurate picture of the trade-offs involved in the data caching. Yeah, and its limitation is solved in this paper. Like we have a doubt, right? And shifting to the technology ratios, evolving storage capacities, and evolving disk, as you can see in the slide, and RAM pricing are all covered in the study. As a result, it offers a more Bayesian foundation for the storage optimization by updating the guidelines and adding the new metrics. In this work, it solves to the limitation of the previous work by taking into account the latest technologies and in the RAM and the disk storage. This allows the authors to propose the new and the more accurate rules of the thumb for the data catching or coaching type. Yeah. Yeah, the assumptions that we had made does make some sense, because the cost of the RAM and the disk storage has been remained constant over the time. However, this assumption is not valid all the time, because the cost of the RAM has been changing for the recent years. The cost will not be the same for all the years, right? Yeah, while the cost of the disk storage, but the disk storage cost remains the constant. Yeah, of course it is, which means that the break-even point between the coaching data in the memory and the writing it to the disk has shifted in favor of the caching. As a result, the 5-minute rule and 1-minute rules of the thumb are more accurate than the previous rules of the thumb that were based on the assumptions of the constant cost. Like these assumptions are made based upon the cost of both the RAM and the disk storage. Hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Yeah, the 5-minute and 1-minute rule of the thumb will be more accurate if we eliminate the assumption that RAM and disk storage cost will stay over the time. Yeah, this is because the break-even point between the caching data in the memory and the writing it to the disk will continue to shift in favor of the caching, as the cost of the RAM may decrease sometimes and may increase sometimes, which means that the author proposed solutions is more relevant and important in phase of challenging the, like, changing the technology cost, right? Yeah, these are the limitations and assumptions that we had discussed in the paper, and we are also discussed, is it believable or not, is the limitation is all in the paper, and is it reasonable or not for the assumptions, has the problem solved before or not. These are all the questions that we discussed in the paper. And moving on the next slide, what we are going to learn about the contributions and proposed approach. And in this slide, we are going to, as I told before, that this research work is already present, and which the authors, like the writers, Gray and Pozzolo has done something to do. Yeah, right. Yeah. What is the problem new and is it ideal? What are the algorithms, approaches, and ideas that are proposed in this paper? And is there any experimental and analytical evaluation that we are going to see in this paper? Yeah. And the issue that is being discussed in this study is a continuation of the previous reason, as I said before, especially which is the 5-minute rule, which is the modification takes in this place, and into account there are some modification takes into like the technology ensures disk and RAM pricing and storage capacity by changing the criteria and adding the new measures. Yeah, of course. The topic of the like whether is new or is it old? Yeah, of course it is not new, but it's already present, present paper. But the authors propose some new and more accurate rules of the thumb for the data caching that are based on the latest research in the field. They also taken into the account the latest technological advances in the RAM and disk storage. This makes their approach to the problem new and innovative. Of course, the 5-minute rule states that the pages that are referred every 5 minutes, yeah, they proposed many different approaches and algorithms, right? The author proposed two rules of the thumb for the data caching. They are the 5-minute rule and the 1-minute rule. What does the 5-minute and 1-minute rule states? Anyone have an idea on that? Yeah, I will explain. The 5-minute rule states that the pages that are referenced every 5 minutes or less than the time should be kept in the memory, while the pages that are refer less frequently should be written into the disk. The 1-minute rule states that the pages that are read sequentially and never refer again should be cached in the memory, but instead they should be read directly from the disk. If you got it right, yeah. The assumptions and restrictions of the author suggested methodology are also covered. They highlighted how the assumptions made about the hardware and workload could impact the approach's performance, acknowledging that the guidelines are dependent on the certain presumptions. Yeah. Is there any experimental and analytical evaluation? Of course, it is. No. Sorry. No, there are no experimental results and traditional analytical evaluations in the study because it mainly depends upon the performance and economic justifications guiding the storage decisions with rules and measurements. The analysis mainly involves the consideration with the technology ratios, disk and RAM prices, and historical performance trends rather than presenting the experimental data. Yeah, these are the algorithms and ideas, and the problem is it new or not, whether it is experimental and analytical evaluation or not. And moving to the next slide, in this slide, we are going to have a discussion on the methodology, like which methodology that the authors choose. Yeah, the as we can see in the slide, is it the case study? No, the paper is not a case study, and it is not a statistically hypothesis testing, and but it involves the analytical evaluation. Is it computational complexity? No, there is no point of that, and there is no point of discussing about the theorems, lemmas, or proofs, and no, it's not experimentally evaluation. And coming to the strengths and weakness of the methodology, the experimental evaluation of the 5-minute rule and 1-minute rule is done, and the comparison between the proposed approach and the previous approach is done, which result that the approaches can achieve the better performances in certain stages. Yeah. The reason for choosing this kind of methodology by the author Gray and Putlos it is that maybe it's very simple and it's practical way to optimize the data storage performance in many applications, and this it is also based upon a solid theoretical foundation and it has been shown to be effective in practice. Overall, the author's methodology is a valuable contribution to the field of data storage optimization, and it's simple and practical way to optimize a data storage performance in a variety of applications, and it is based upon a solid theoretical foundation. And I think it's been late, and we're almost at the end, and we have to conclude on what are the extension that I will provide. Yeah, overall, the data storage, computer storage technology and its implication for the system design is provided by this 5-minute rule, 10-year later, and other computer storage rules of the time. In this, we'll learn several new rules that can help the system designers how to manage and use the storage resources. The technology has changed since the original 5-minute rule were proposed, but the trade-off between the memory, CPU, and the disk remains the same, right? Yeah. However, the relative cost of uh, relative cost and performance of the resources has been changed, and as a result, the optimal values for the 5-minute rule and other rules of the thumb has been changed. The paper also concludes that new caps, maps, scans are important for understanding the performance and cost of the storage systems. These metrics provide a more view on the system performance than the traditional metrics such as the iVoox and batteries. Yeah, this is what I want to conclude and what I understand. And what might be the future work that I can include, like developing some more rules of the thumb for the data caching and other the storage management strategies, and by analyzing the impact of the latest technologies, for instance, like SSDs and NVMs on the system design, and developing the new metrics for measuring the performance and cost of the storage system. And these are this is what I want to conclude, and this is the future work that I can say. And these are the references that I followed in the slide, in for the preparation of this, and to understand what I learned, to understand the whole concept of the 5-minute rule, 10 years later, and the other computer storage rule of the thumb. And these are the references like that. And yeah, guys, this is the end of the video. And if you guys having any doubts regarding anything, do text me or pin in the comment section, and I will make this clear. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.